Brought to you by Penguin.
Testimony of Light, an extraordinary message of life after death, by Helen Greaves. Read by Candida Gubbins, Patience Tomlinson, and Roy McMillan.
An interview with the late Sir Malcolm Sargent on the BBC, April the 19th, 1968. Transcribed from a recording by Radio Direction Telediphone Unit. Sir Malcolm Sargent. I feel death, which I've never been afraid of, which I look forward to. Interviewer. You look forward to death? Sir Malcolm Sargent. Oh, very much. Obviously. I mean, this life has been wonderful, and because I've loved this life so much, I know I shall love death more. Don't you remember, he said, when I came to this world, I do not remember a moment, but I was not a stranger. So shall it be when one passes from life to death, from life to life. By kind permission of Sir Malcolm's secretary. Forward. Lieutenant Colonel R. M. Lester, author of In Search of the Hereafter, etc., founder and vice president of the Church's Fellowship for Psychical and Spiritual Studies. Telepathy between the living is now generally accepted, but telepathy between the living and the so-called dead is less common. Countless books have been written recording alleged communication with discarnate minds, and many of these are very dubious in their authenticity. Such communications are claimed to have been received by a variety of methods: automatic writing, clairaudience, trance, mediumship, and so on. The highest level of communication is undoubtedly that of telepathy, and in this book we have an outstanding example of this, where communion between two people on either side of the veil has been achieved without effort and without seeking, in a very beautiful manner. I have known Helen Greaves for many years, not only as an experienced writer, but also as one versed in the higher studies of mysticism and possessing a gift that enables her to penetrate to the next dimension of consciousness. The communicator, Frances Banks, was also well known to me, and she shared very actively in our work of the Church's Fellowship for Psychical and Spiritual Studies. She was held in the highest esteem by all who had the privilege of meeting her, and it is no surprise to us that one of her early tasks after passing from this life was to contact the mind of one with whom she had worked so closely while in the physical body. By using Helen Greaves as a pure, unobstructed channel, Frances Banks has been able to get such a wonderful testimony of light across that, as the author states, it will bring comfort to many and stimulate faith and hope in many, who, in this materialistic age, are feeling frustrated and despairing. Those of us who know both Helen Greaves and Frances Banks so well are impressed by the authenticity of these scripts. The phrasing and content of the communications are so typical of Frances, and completely unlike the style of writing as shown by the author in her previous books and articles. Transition to the next stage of consciousness has not changed Frances Banks in any way, except, as she says, to have progressed to a little more illumination. Her message, that the death of the body is but a gentle passing to a much freer and fuller life, comes across with great clarity and conviction. Preface. Canon J.D. Pierce Higgins, M.A. on CF, a Vice-Chairman of the Church's Fellowship for Psychical and Spiritual Studies. It is a privilege of which I am quite unworthy to be asked to write a foreword to this remarkable book containing communications claimed to come from Frances Banks through the intermediacy of her friend Helen Greaves, and which, from my own personal acquaintance of Frances certainly, to me bear all the stamp of authenticity. If they are indeed from her, then she truly has outsoared the shadow of our night, as one would have expected. I have used the word intermediacy rather than mediumship, because this book would appear to contain the ideal form of communication, namely between two minds, which already on earth were well in tune with each other, and appear, though parted physically, to have been able to continue in unity of...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?